Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here with Nolan Bushnell and Dr. Leah Haynes talking about our topic today is change in education and some of the things that make change challenging in education and why it can be important to try and rise up and meet those challenges. Uh, and one of the ways in which I've been involved in trying to make change in education is by introducing my company and product Thrively to schools, and that's been a real challenge. And we were just talking about this a bit. One of the built-in challenges in the education system is that it's so vast, and it has to address the needs of so many children that it has become quite a significant bureaucracy. And I don't say that in a negative way. It just is. It takes a lot of people to manage an education system. And therefore, it takes a lot of layers to make decisions. And so it becomes very, very difficult to get decisions made, especially when it comes to something that's innovative because you're dealing with kids and it needs to
Yeah,
be
you
tested.
can't afford to fail. It's not like, well, that model year wasn't so good, so we just won't buy that model year. We've got
Yeah,
kids who have to get the best of every year. So the
absolutely.
risk of change is what if it doesn't, what if the kids don't do better? What if they do worse if we make the change? The safest thing to do is do nothing.
Exactly, and
Well,
that's what we've seen, for 100 years. Not to say that the education system has done nothing or hasn't changed, but the fundamental model has stayed so very much the same. And so it's about, I think, finding little pockets of opportunity to make changes. And I know you guys have been working on that with the Two Bit Circus Station and the maker spaces. I mean, that must have had some challenges.
yeah, in some ways, you almost need to think about it like the FDA. You almost have to prove and test efficacy. And one of the things that we are going to be doing at ExoDexa is do some really deep dive, you know, research. We're going to bribe some PhD students to actually track, because what everybody wants is efficacy. But there's an awful lot of sham stuff that is partially effective, maybe not effective, and it may be highly effective for 60% of the kids, and it really screws up 10%. Well, we can't have that, So I think that we need rigor, and continued focus on that rigor to get adoption into the bureaucracy. It's a little easier if you go into private schools, and easiest yet to go into homeschoolers.
Right.
If you have
Really
efficacy.
though, for when we started building the maker spaces and trying to get teachers to move from lecture style to learning by doing, it was tough to get in at first, but once we were, the first teacher talked about it to the other teachers in that school and whoever could wanted, and then the next thing you know, like the following year, I think we did first year we did three, we built three. And then the following year we were like building seven or eight, and we got an order for 10 at the end of the year. Well, we're now about 7 years later on that program, and we're this year we built 120. So, and it was all word of mouth by teachers. So as much as it's hard to go in and make sudden change big all at once, because the teachers have been through so many, like, okay, no child left behind, now it's Common Core, now it's like what's next, and they've lost the ability to just trust that the system is working in everyone's best interest. And I think the system is trying to work in everyone's best interest. But to John's point earlier, it's such a huge conglomerate to make those changes in. So even though I think everyone would like to, they need evidence of efficacy before they turn that whole ship. And I think that that's probably the right approach at this stage. Rather than it being dictated top down, it needs to come from the teachers in the classroom, and the students. The students should get a voice on, how would you like, because maybe we sort students by the ones who would really like lectures in this pool, and the ones who really want a creative hands-on way of learning here, and those who really want to be able to do it individually on a laptop or a tablet, they're in this group. I mean, let the children have some choice in this as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the most effective sort of sales tools that we've had at Thrively are when teachers get so excited about the product and the kids get so excited. We've had tons of teachers just make their own video about Thrively and then publish it, and that's hearing it from the kids.
Yeah.
There's no better source. And
Yeah.
even though teachers have had to deal with so much challenging change or attempts at change, a lot of times they're the biggest innovators and they're the most motivated. And so starting with them, as you said, can be really productive.
Cool. Well, I think that we've got a nice road ahead of us. I always like to do match racing. Maybe we could do 100 kids where we feed them a placebo and then 100 kids that use our stuff, and then we match race and then we test them. I don't know.
Right. The poor kids without. Well, I think we'd be able to give it to enough teachers through our program and maybe others, but I know that the thousands of teachers that we've worked with in Los Angeles, there's probably a dozen that would really love to have this as an opportunity for their students in exchange for us collecting efficacy.
Have you had other states reach out to you?
Yes, we've had conversation in many other states, but I think for now we've probably covered this topic, and let's revisit it down the road when we see how it is for us getting into schools. But thank you guys for the conversation.
Stay tuned. You'll see our attempts and our failures and maybe some successes.
There you go. Check out ExoDexa online.